course, they have a press conference, right? And that's about Joe Biden's mental capacity, his mental state. And all of them, Karine Jean-Pierre and all of them split screen it for me, trying to act like none of this is happening. None of this is happening. Listen to this, because this is the people in the press corps finally asking questions. And the reason why they're only asking these tough questions, because they see it getting handed over to Trump without even having to fight for it.
I want to follow up on the vice president's comments on, you've been saying gratuitous, she said politically motivated. Is it this administration's stance that this report was issued in part, or there was a motive in this issue, a goal with this report to inflict political harm on the president?
Now you see this? He's talking about what Kamala Harris said, that this is political harm, right? This is politically harming Joe Biden. Like they did this on purpose in this report. This is like the Comey moment. I meant to get that clip. I do have that clip archived where James Comey came out and said that no reasonable prosecutor would look into this case. And that's exactly what happened here. And I don't know how well y'all can see this, but they had the headlines on this, or the caption on this. It says, White House refused to say if Biden will fire Attorney General Garland because Attorney General Garland allowed this to happen, allowed the truth to come out. So now they're wanting them to fire him. But listen to his response.
I think that you have to look at we talked about this at the beginning of our conversation today. You have a situation where former DOJ officials are talking about the political repercussions of these actions, and that it's incumbent upon the prosecutor to take great care to follow departmental policy, to not criticize unindicted conduct and behavior or characteristics, which we've seen in this case.
That's former DOJ officials. But this White House right now, is it the stance by this White House that this report was issued in part with a motive and a goal to inflict political harm on the president?
I heard the question the first time, and I have nothing to object to in what the vice president said. I thought she was powerful and forceful.
But he has nothing to object. He thought she was powerful and forceful. Really? I'm willing to bet behind closed doors, she's behind a lot of this pushing the 25th Amendment. I'm willing to bet it. Y'all let me know in the comments. Do y'all think Kamala Harris is doing it? Because look, think about it. A lot of people, and it's going buzzing all around right now about Michael Obama probably stepping in. Now, I've had the conversation with my producer about Michael Obama multiple times, and my producer believed that he's not going to run Michelle Obama. She believes that Michelle Obama is not going to run because Michelle Obama loves her lifestyle. She hates politics. But how many times have y'all heard these people in the past say they hate politics, they love their lifestyle, they're not going to get in it just to turn around and get in it? Who's to say? I think personally, it's really looking good for Michael Obama if she wants to get into it right now. I'm just saying.
But also, just to follow up, I'm sorry, this administration, as you said that Republicans have often attacked prosecutors, independent systems, and you said that's created an environment where, if I've interpreted this right, there is an incentive by the special counsel to include some of this language. But often I've heard from Democrats and this White House say that those attacks against independent systems can also sow distrust with the public and those independent institutions. By saying that this is politically motivated, not just gratuitous, but politically motivated, does this not also sow distrust with the public? And
I reject that. I reject that question. You see this, and it's in the report, the letter that the president's lawyer and the White House counsel's office sent.
You hear this? He's actually rejecting what they've been doing, right? They've been trying to tell everybody that we can trust the FBI, trust the DOJ, trust these different tyrannical organizations within the government. And now what they are doing, they're turning right around and saying that you can't trust this report. You can't trust what Attorney General Garland allowed to come out. You can't trust it. And he's just asking the question, isn't this the same thing? When a lot of people are saying that we can't trust them because we don't trust them any longer because there's actually a two-tier justice system. 100%. And that guy's from Politico. Communist leftist Politico, asking these questions like, wait a minute, it's not looking good. And again, the only reason why they're doing this, asking these questions of the White House right now, is because it's handing it over to President Trump without even a fight.
To the special counsel to talk about the Department of Justice norms and policies that they see as being violated by some of the comments and remarks made in the report. And so, I think that that's a false equivalence kind of question, because what we have argued and what we continue to say and believe is that you're not supposed to make these sorts of things according to Justice Department policy. The president, when he ran, and you guys all know this because you heard this.
Listen to this. Listen to what he said he ran on. Watch this. You can leave a split screen.
About how important it was to restore the rule of law.
He wants to restore the rule of law. Joe Biden has been breaking the law forever, ever since he became a member in politics. Ever since he joined politics, he's been a criminal. He's not bringing any rule of law. He's a criminal. Listen.
And he understands that. And he talked about this last night, to MJ's point, about the appointment of the special counsel and sort of how he felt about that. This is a president who is committed to restoring those norms. And I think when we object to some of the gratuitousness in the comments that you're asking about, and you hear me talk about the former attorney general and other people who've made those comments, they are criticizing that this does not follow those norms.
You know what?
They're talking about the norms, right? They're trying to say that they're bringing back the rule of law when Joe Biden, again, has been breaking the law ever since he stepped foot into the political realm. And now they're saying about he's bringing the norm back. The norm is that no one pays attention to the criminal activities that Joe Biden's been doing. No one pays attention to the criminal activities that the Democrats have been doing. And now it's like backfiring on them, and they don't know how to react to it. They're out there doing damage control. 100% damage control. You gonna say something?
Yeah, I think it's sad because the minute he put this report out, which it is damning for Biden, but they're going, well, they criticized his character. Well, you know what? The findings of the investigation were that he is a man who looks frail, who forgets. That's the detail. That's what came out of the investigation. Is it critical? Yes, but it's truthful.
That's
not going in there.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They put the truth in there, and they didn't want the truth to be in there.
And they're
all
twisting
these
it.
Democrats have constantly pushed back on having the truth be presented to the American people. And now here it is laid out in this report about Joe Biden's age, about his mental capacity, laying out the truth, and literally saying that basically, this is what they're saying, no reasonable prosecutor would go after them because of his age.
Yeah, the special
because
counsel,
of his mental capacity.
He's sitting here twisting it like, well, he's being critical or attacking Biden's character and who he is. That's not true. That's the findings of the report. The reports are what they are. You may not like them, but there was no intent to criticize Biden.
Just like this one. Here's another one where the press is asking about Joe Biden remembering or not remembering something. Watch this.
Still in the back.
Thank you. A follow-up and then a separate question. You said a moment ago that the president was responding to inaccurate information when he claimed last night that all the stuff in my home was behind locked filing cabinets. Is he entirely clear now, at this point, where all the documents were discovered? And does he now know that his statement about locked filing cabinets is false?
The report lays out in 400 pages of detail all of the evidence and all of the review that they conducted in looking into this matter. The president made sure that all of the classified documents that were found were returned promptly to the government, which is what you're supposed to do, which is why this is the inevitable conclusion that there is no case here.
And that's not what I asked, though. Does he know that his statement yesterday that all the documents were behind locked cabinets was inaccurate?
Now watch this, because he was asking him, is Joe Biden going to admit that these documents were not in a secure location behind locked cabinets? Because that's what he's asking him. And he straight up said, that's not what I'm asking you. That's not the question I'm asking you. It's almost like finally the government state media is starting to ask questions. And the only reason why they're asking questions again, and I'm going to repeat this, is because it looks bad for the Democrat Party. and they're just handing it to Joe Biden. Now watch his reaction. Because, see, you notice he didn't like the fact he said, that's not what I'm asking you.
Clear in his mind. I know that last night was perhaps, stressful, confusing environment, but does he?
I understand what you're trying to ask, Phil, and I think that I've answered the question.
I have a separate follow-up question, and that is my follow-up question after that lack of a response was there was an eye-popping moment in the report specifically about the president's ghostwriter, and that was that after he learned that the special counsel had began an investigation, he deleted some of his recordings. Now, those recordings were able to be recovered. What I'm curious about is, can you say definitively whether or not the president or anyone else at the White House was in contact with his ghostwriter?
This is in the report. I mean, read the report. In the report, it says that they sought this, they looked into this, and that they didn't. So that's in the report.
They were not in contact.
I mean, how terrible is that? So they actually had a ghostwriter. Joe Biden had a ghostwriter that did not have clearance to the documents and to the information that Joe Biden was feeding him. So Joe Biden took these documents and had these documents. Some of these documents had over 20 years, to my understanding. Right? He had these documents since when he was a senator. He had these documents and should have never had these documents and was sharing them with a ghostwriter. When did President Trump share the documents with somebody? When did he share them? President Trump didn't share the documents with any ghostwriter. And they're trying to say that what President Trump did was 10 times worse. Joe Biden shared the documents. If this is not two-tier, I don't know what is. This is like the worst the Democrats could ever ask for. And it's just like a James Comey scenario all over again. All over again. They come out with this report and it's so damaging. And you know what? They could have said, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and try to proceed with. They can't indict him because he's sitting in the White House, right? To my understanding, they can't indict him. But they could have brought this is completely grounds for impeachment, complete grounds for them to charge him for the criminal activity that he's been doing. And now the talk is, do we get rid of him because of his mental capacity, implement the 25th Amendment, or do we get rid of him because of the documents, because he lied? You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.